Alright, before we hop into the video today, just a quick thank you to our sponsor, Sports TNB. Hey, if you play 2K, you know the grind is real. The badge grind can get tough, so if you're looking to buy a stacked NBA 2K account with max badges and everything like that, visit sportstnb.com. Make sure to let him know Hayden YT sent you, and he'll get you everything you need. He's legit. First link in the description down below. Go check it out. Alright, what's going on YouTube? Hayden here. Today we're back with a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Georgia commit video where I'll do a breakdown of the player and get into and make a highlight tape for him, and you'll see that at the end. So if you're interested in the highlights, I'll have a time step on the screen if you just want to check out the highlights and don't want to hear what I have to say about Jalen Carter. So before we hop into the video, I'd really appreciate if you hit the like button down below, as it really helps out the channel. And if you're interested in more content like this, Georgia sports content, commit breakdowns, breaking news videos, story videos, recap videos, everything like that, anything and everything Georgia football related, and I occasionally dip and dive into Atlanta sports as well. So if that interests you at all, make sure to hit the red subscribe button down below. Make sure to click the notification bell to know when I post content on this channel, because YouTube is weird, so if you don't click that bell, you will not know or get notified when I post a video. And also comment down below. And also, if you're interested in watching Georgia football highlights, I do have another channel where I do Georgia football highlights, Georgia basketball highlights, and also down in the description box below the video, and check out my social media, Instagram, Twitter, everything like that. Newly added to the description box is links to all the stuff that I use to provide content on this channel. So if you're interested in maybe starting up a channel of your own, I have an affiliate link down there below if you're interested in maybe making content and similar to this or something like that. So all that stuff is down there in the description box below. Alright, with all that said, I don't want to take up too much time rambling on here, so let's get right into the Jalen Carter video. So today's breakdown, as I just said, is about Jalen Carter, a new Georgia signee from the early signing day on December 18th. He is a defensive tackle standing at 6'4", 301 pounds, out of the state of Florida. I really don't know how to say his high school or his hometown. Apopka, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comment section, as you guys always do. Correct these names that I always find a way to get wrong somehow. Jalen is a 4-star prospect on the 247 rankings, on the 247 composite rankings. He's ranked 53rd nationally, number 6 defensive tackle in the country, and number 9 in the state of Florida. He recently had a jump here earlier this month when 247 did their updated rankings, I'm pretty sure, where he was in the top 70. And now he is right outside the top 50. So a nice little increase for Jalen in the rankings there. As I said, he signed on December 18th during National Signing Day, and he has been committed to Georgia since May of 2019. So he's been a guy who pretty much was all Georgia from the jump. Once he went and visited Georgia and met all the coaches and the staff and everything like that, he was all Georgia from the very beginning all the way back in May. Alright, so as always, we'll get into the numbers here. 247 doesn't really have any numbers on him. They just have his shuttle, which is a 5.01 seconds. That was from 2018, so not really very updated right there. If you go on ESPN, they actually have a couple testing results here, where he ran a 5.1540, a 4.84 20-yard shuttle, a 28.7 vertical jump, and he was actually the best defensive tackle when it came to the power throw. He's a very strong player, as you'll get to see in the highlights and when I talk about a couple points in the breakdown. So, getting into the Jalen as a football player. So Jalen's a guy who's going to bring a lot of athleticism to this team, as I said, where he comes from an athletic background of basketball, where there's a couple clips of him doing some windmill dunks and everything like that. So the dude's pretty gifted when it comes to stuff like that. And he's also, before his senior season, he was a runner-up in the state weightlifting meet in Florida. So that's something to look forward to right there. And he also was a hybrid in his junior season, where he actually played a lot of tight end and was kind of like maybe a fullback position where he was a blocker a lot, as you'll see in the couple clips in the end, where he absolutely just destroys people when he blocks them. The guy's an absolute tank on the football field. But Jalen's a pretty big pickup for Georgia, because the D-line is kind of in a position of need, as there's 3 seniors on this football team. Defensive line and defensive tackle position is a need for Georgia, where we're going to be losing at least 6 players off of the defensive line. Michael Barnett, Michael Carter, Tyler Clark, David Marshall, Julian Rochester, and Justin Young. actually scratch Julian Rochester off that list. I forgot that he will actually be returning for a 5th year of eligibility. I'm pretty sure that would be because he was injured this year. His Sugar Bowl will be the 4th game, and with the new rules and everything like that, you can play 4 games and still use a red shirt. So Julian Rochester will be returning for next season. Bringing up the likes of someone like Tyler Clark, Jalen Carter did an interview recently at the Under Armour Game Media Day. Pretty much said that he feels he can play a Tyler Clark kind of role as a freshman. And this is all from an article from DawgNation. Credit them down below in the description. So Jalen Carter knows he has an opportunity to make an early impact for Georgia, and he stated that Tyler Clark is a very good player and he feels he can come in and play exactly like him at the next level. So with the words of Jalen Carter that he spoke right there, I feel that he is a guy who can come in and make a little bit of an early impact for Georgia. Like I said, it's a position of need, so expect some younger guys to be probably getting a decent amount of playing time on the D-line. So with that said, we can get more into him as a player on the field. He's a guy who's going to bring natural power to this D-line, where in high school he just absolutely plows through O-lines, which is something that can definitely work because his size of just being 6'4", 301, he's just such a huge guy, so he's able to plow through these O-lines at the high school level. But one thing I think he could probably work on going to the next level, from a technical standpoint, he can get better on the technical side of the football. Where in high school he can use his raw athleticism, but being a newly converted defensive lineman where he was splitting time as tight end and defensive lineman as a junior, and his senior year he pretty much converted to D-line. That's something he could work on, the technical side of being a defensive lineman. That's not a knock on him at all. He's still a great player, but that's just what happens when you make such a late change. So Jalen has a unique blend of like this athleticism and strength to him. So he's able to use his athleticism to kind of be a finesse artist with his moves that he uses as a defensive tackle, but also that strength is able to allow him to be like just a pure like bull rusher through the offensive line. He's a really unique player, and that allows him to have a pretty high upside when it comes to the college football level, and where he can, I believe, like I said as well, where he can make an early impact on his team on a position of need going forward for Georgia. I was talking about his technical abilities earlier, where he could probably work on that a little bit more, but he is actually progressing pretty fast as a defensive lineman, and that's really nice to see going forward. But with all this guy's combination of his God-given talent and his just abilities that he's been able to work on throughout these last couple of years of converting from a tight end / defensive tackle to just a pure defensive tackle, and he's been able to do this transition quickly and progress pretty fast as a defensive tackle. And with all that said about him right there, what I was just talking about, 247 actually gives him a first-round projection when it comes to the NFL draft, and they're comparing him to Eddie Vanderdoes. I don't really know who this guy is, so I really don't know how much to put into this comparison. So if you guys know who this player is, let me know a little bit more about that, and if it's actually a really good comparison for someone to compare him to. Coming up here, I believe I'm going to be uploading this video on the 31st of December. So that means here in a few days, if you are interested in watching Jalen Carter play one more time before he reaches the college level, you can do so by watching the Under Armour All-American Game on January 2nd. And I mentioned this in the last video where I was talking a little about Zach Evans and a couple other recruits. A lot of other Georgia players will be playing in that game, and a couple of them will also be playing in the All-American Bowl. So if you're interested in checking out these guys before they get on to the Georgia football camp, to the University of Georgia campus, you can do that by watching those couple of games there. But with that said, this video might end up being pretty long. I talked a lot, so it's time for the highlights. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, comment down below what you think of Jalen Carter, subscribe to the channel if you're not already doing so, and if you enjoy content like this, hit the post notification bell to know when I post content on this channel. It's been Hayden. I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy the highlights.